Welcome back here to the Bend at Motorsport Park. We've got Chris O'Connor who's jumping in with us for a bit of expert commentary on the Heritage Touring Cars. Here is the starting grid. Mark Eddy will be on pole with the HR31. David Toe with the 1982 BMW 635 CSI. Magnificent looking bit of machinery. In fact, all of them are. Adrian Ellerslie in the Holden Commodore, the 5 litre, the venerable 308. Bill Cutler in another BMW M3 to Phil Vorwick, the Mazda RX-7 rotary powered rocket ship around there. Adrian Brady to Tony Sorwood, Michael Naducci, Lindsay Ullard, George Nettis will round out the top 10. We'll go to 11 now, which will be Justin Matthews, and it's Cottrell, Mina Tunney, and then we go back to Ed Singleton, and he will be out of position at number 15. Justin Nilsson in the little turbocharged Exa as well there. Bill Magafin in the first of the Alphas in the field. Rodney Hadfield in the 1974 Holden Tirana. Ian Helston in the Toyota Sprinter. And Jamie McDonald in another one of the 1980s Commodores. Neville Butler in the 1984 Ford Escort. David Patterson, Dean Howe and Jack LeBrock. Now, I've been joined by a special guest from the Heritage Touring Cars. David, welcome to commentary, and we've got the field all set to go on their rolling start.
Thank you, and it's great to be here. So, exciting race, and we're going to have a series of 3 races today, and I hope to see that the cars perform well and they'll get to enjoy the new circuit.
So, you're a competitor yourself?
I own a car, but I'm not currently competing.
Sorry about that, Chris O'Connor, not Dave, sorry about that. As Chris, the cars come up to get the green light here for their third race for the weekend. Another couple more after this one today, representing some pretty iconic phases of touring car racing here with Group A and Group C as we see the field charge away there, and there's some big movers already as they head down to turn 1. The Skyline's been gazumped by the Commodore coming out of the second row of the grid. So the 5 litre VL Walkinshaw getting away very, very nicely there indeed. Mark Eddy just going back into position 2. And there's the JPS, well, one of the JPS 635s down the back of the field. One mixed up there with Ed Singleton right alongside. But everyone away clean and well there, Chris.
That's it. It's a great lineup that we've got here today. We've got cars, from as early as 1977 right through to 1992, covering both Group C and Group A. So it's exciting to see all the cars be running together.
This is around turn 6 for the first time now. A couple of BMW M3s side by side there. This was the way they battled it out in the day. And there's a Group C Tirana, Craven Mild. Good bit of cigarette sponsorship onto the Group A and Group C days. And getting them back out there on track now. But that Walkinshaw Group A getting away like it did early doors yesterday as well. The Holden got away early in the Group A, Group C racing.
It did, and they eventually pulled him in, and the Skyline was managing to really have a good tussle with him around the circuit, and eventually got by him and took the win.
And the brakes now, these cars, they head over the back part of the new Bend Motorsport Park complex. It's good battling here. This is Mark Eddy holding up Toe, and Bill Cutler just off the back of this battle as well. Ed Singleton weighing in there. He had a bit of a tough run yesterday with the STP Roadways Commodore, but he's right in the mix there at the moment, and it'll be Tony Sorwood in the back of shot there also in the Tirana. Really cool looking Group A race cars. Had some massive fields of these cars in the Tay-Day, and of course last year we saw the championship going to Tony Alford. He was running the GIO GTR Skyline throughout last year, but really good representation of the cars that were eligible. Of course, we had Jack LeBrock. This might be Jack coming down the straight now, and Jack's back out there in the mix today, so he's having some good runs there. This is the start again. The Commodore getting through very, very nicely off the start there. The Tirana looks monstrous up the inside of the number 44 of Toe in the BMW. But Mark Eddy just not getting away from the line so well there. And I guess kind of what it was back in the day when the turbo cars didn't quite get off the line as well as the normally aspirated, particularly the 308, the 5-litre Holdens, and of course there was the 351 Falcons that played into that mix as well.
That's right. We've got a combination of the turbo as well, but some of the cars have gone through and they've changed differentials for this event.
David Toe gets the move done on Mark Eddy. That's a swap for P2 in this race. So the chase is on now for the white Commodore out in front, and he's got through turbo car charged inline 6 of Mark Eddy in the Skyline. Not done yet. Continue to stick with it in the number 52. Bill Cutler still just lurking off the back of this little battle as well, but it looks as though David Toe is out after that Holden now.
Yeah, that's the ex-Longhurst and Richards BMW, and it does perform well. It performed well in its day, and it was always on the edge of its technology, and it does run really well. And of course, David Toe, he knows how to pedal a car.
Yeah, these cars must be getting pretty hard to keep running as fast as they were back in the day. I was just thinking the Sierra, all Cosworth bits, if you do an engine in that, you're up for some big figures, aren't you? So getting these cars running and getting out there. So that's Jack LeBrock at the wheel of car number 8, the old Caltex Sierra. He actually qualified on pole. He sat out yesterday's race. There was a concern with the engine, and he's out there now. So it's interesting, we're seeing across a number of the categories as we just watch the LeBrock trying to get down the inside there for a swap position, and he's now out after the similarly turbocharged car of Mark Eddy. And Mark Eddy's dived right over to the extreme driver's right of the straight there to maybe get out to some cold air, maybe a bit of turbo heating problems, but there's Jack LeBrock now. Says Bond across the top of the screen because that's what it ran in the day, but it's
that's right.
Jack LeBrock, current supercar racer. He's had his big break with Techno this year, and he'll be here in August. Just saying, there's a few of these supercar drivers that are here this weekend trying to find their way around this place, get a little bit of an edge over their fellow competitors.
Yeah, on day one, practice and qualifying, we saw Jack LeBrock really strip the times down, and he was 10 and 12 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. The Caltex car is Columbon's original car, and it's now owned by Steve Webb, who owns Techno Motorsport, who's part of Techno Motorsport. So hence why you've got Jack driving the car for him this weekend.
Really good decision for him to do that, to use this time, I guess, for what is the big commitment of Australian motorsport these days, the supercars. And let's have a look at how Jack LeBrock got rid of Mark Eddy. And nice move. Mark Eddy was certainly not going to defend too hard on that. Jack was coming at him. He saw it was that car. Oh no, David Toe, who was out after the race leader, has come to a halt out around, just to me, about turn 7. He's come to a halt there. Ed Singleton's now right up on the back of Mark Eddy as well, so he's weighing in on that. And Bill Cutler has been dispensed with by Ed. That's the number 21 STP car, an ex-Grice car. Very popular, the ex-Grice cars with the heritage touring cars. And here's a swap for the lead. Hanging on in the Commodore, hanging on very bravely indeed, but Jack LeBrock goes through and will take the lead of this race as we just see the Commodore dispensed back one spot there. Wide there for Ed Singleton, and Bill Cutler will go through. That's the mistake he was looking for, as that very, very highly stressed M3 will go through. I remember seeing the Group A's at Phillip Island coming onto the straight in the in the heyday, and those things were doing 13,000 RPM, those BMWs.
That's right. Yeah, well, that's one of the ex-ITSA cars, and yeah, it's probably one of the more developed cars that's running around this weekend in the Group A series. So.
The 45 car of Justin Matthews there, an ex-Bob Holden car. It's putting up a good battle with the number 69 with Daniel Cottrell, a VH Commodore. So that's a couple of cars that are spanning the Group C era, but both ends are bookmarking the Group C era. The Escort was certainly the under 2-litre car weapon of choice there for a while, along with Mazda RX-3s were thrown in there with their 12As. And here's the Pulsar of Justin Nielsen as well. He's fighting back hard through the field and goes through on Justin Matthews. So the little Pulsar Exa.
Yep. So you'll see Justin come through around the back of the circuit, and he really gets that little escort wound up. He's a very good steerer, and a credit to the car. They were the giant killers of the day across the top of the mountain.
Well, this is a good battle here, and just to give you some focus on it, this is for 12th and 13th at the moment. The two Justins are really going for it here. Little Exa. It was Christine Gibson that drove these cars.
Yep.
And really did a great job. Again, across the top of the mountain, the lesser capacity cars and the smaller cars, being that they were nimble, were always all over the back of the likes of KB in the Camaro, and Dick Johnson in the Falcons, and Jim Keogh and Rusty French and the guys that were running in that Group C era. Here's a couple of different eras, a Group C and a Group A car. Of course, the 635 spanned the two eras. It was a Group C car and a Group A car. The defining aspect between them is that the big pumped guards on the 635 Group C.
That's right. You'll see number 43 is running around with the big guards and big wheels, and it's certainly a legacy of the Group C, late Group C era.
I think that was the car that Jim Richards drove over at the
New Zealand
Revival. Yep.
Oh, sorry, in New Zealand as well.
Okay, so it's been doing some travelling. Great to have it here at the opening round of the Bend Motorsport Park as part of round one of the Shannons Nationals. And I'm tipping quite a few of these cars have got Shannons insurance on them, being that they're pretty valuable pieces of kit, bit of Australian motorsport history. There's the number 2, of course, Steve Masterton, sprung on the scene in the Group A era and the late Group C era, had Commodores and Falcons. That's McDonald at the wheel at the moment.
It's a bit uncharacteristic for Jamie to be back that far in amongst the small cars, but
he looks as though he's making amends for something, doesn't he? He looks like he's coming through the field there. So we've got 3 laps remaining here. There's the Bill Magaffin car, the number 40. It's a great little Alpha. He runs that as part of, well, not that one. He's got a car that he runs in the Veloce series as well. This is certainly a car done in the right livery of the day, as I think the rules specify that, don't they?
they do.
So here's the number 2 car charging down the middle of the straight. Jamie McDonald, he's got the Tirana, just came straight through on him there. So the number 9 of Rodney Hatfield. That's running a very specific livery, that one. And Dustings Holden, car dealership of the suburbs of Melbourne.
Yep. And Don Holland was one of the pilots of that car back in its day, and he was actually here yesterday, and might well be here this weekend.
Mark Eddy looking to get one back here on Bill Cutler. This is for 3rd and 4th on the road. Actually, this is for 2nd, 3rd and 4th on the road, because Jack LeBrock has skated away with it. In fact, he's got a 21.5 second lead at the moment over Adrian. And it's Mark Eddy, Bill Cutler, Ed Singleton, Tony Sawwood, back to Brady, Minna, Nittis, Woolard, rounds out our top 10. This is a really cool Group A battle going on here at the moment with the Walkinshaw Group A. The checkered flags being waved there as we speak, so it'll be Jack LeBrock that ultimately takes the victory. And it was nice that Adrian had himself lined up for a good run on the straight there to get the 5-litre Commodore to the line. Then it was Bill Cutler, very, very close Bill Cutler to Mark Eddy. And that rounds out the first of our races here today for the Group A, Group C Heritage Touring Car Group. And we'll see them again at 1:25 and then again at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So if you're joining us to watch these guys, that's when they're on. And they'll be continuing to, I guess, give us a nice warm feeling that a little bit of retro, a little bit of heritage as we see the two Justins come to the line there as well. That's Nielsen over Matthews, and that was for 11th and 12th on the road there. Great long shot down the straight there. And that's the Grice Commodore, the Jim Keogh Falcon. And here's these two that had a really good battle for the second half of that race. It looks like lurking in the background, the Group C 635 CSI. Have a look at that facility from above. Jack LeBrock takes the victory by 23 seconds over Adrian Ainsley in the Holden Commodore. Bill Cutler in the 1987 BMW M3. Mark Eddy home in the HR31 Nissan. Ed Singleton, Tony Sawwood, Adrian Brady, John Minner in the first of the Falcons, the XD there. Lindsay Woolard in the Commodore. George Nittis in the second of the Falcons. Daniel Cottrell in the Commodore. Justin Nilsson in that battle that he had all race long with Justin Matthews in the Exa and the Escort. Dean Howe, David Patterson. Rod Hatfield gets home for the Tirana there in 16th. The first Alpha to the line. Bill Magaffin, Neville Butler, Jamie McDonald and David Toe.